President Obama has appointed an Ebola czar. We have the latest on the situation.
SDSU campus is mourning for a student who passed from meningitis. More on how fellow students can be affected.
And how expensive do you think San Diego is? Find out where San Diego placed on the list of the U.S. most expensive cities. Hello and welcome to Newscene. I'm Dallas Santiveros.
And I'm Dita Quinones, and we're coming to you from the UTTV in Mission Valley.
The president has assigned a director to control the spread of Ebola. Government insider Ron Klain, right there, will oversee administration's Ebola response to demonstrate more action following the missteps that led to 2 transmissions of the virus in the U.S. Klain will be in charge of coordinating the response across many of the government agencies, including greater efforts to detect and treat Ebola patients in the U.S.
2 Dallas nurses are being treated for Ebola after caring for a patient who died from this disease. 26-year-old Nina Pham has been transported to Maryland, and 29-year-old Amber Vincent is being treated in Dallas. Both are currently in isolation. The healthcare workers were responsible for the care of Thomas Duncan, the Liberian man who died of Ebola earlier this month.
All is back to normal after a health scare was reported on campus here in San Diego. Nathaniel Holmes has the story and more.
Thank you, Dallas. Classes resumed today after a health scare on the campus of Southwestern College turned out to be a hoax. Classes were disrupted after a student said she and her family may have been exposed to the Ebola virus, but it turns out it wasn't true. Yesterday, a student told a teacher she wasn't feeling well and had been on the same flight as a Texas nurse who was tested positive for Ebola. The school closed down 2 classrooms and the student was sent to a separate classroom for observation, but she later recanted her story. So we stopped to think if this scare happened at City College. We talked to the nurse practitioner. She said, quote, "They do not have any precautions right now at City College." As for the Southwestern student, campus staff says it's now a student conduct matter and they will deal with it according to the district's policies and procedures. Frontier Airlines is now trying to contact up to 800 passengers who were aboard the Frontier Airlines flight the same time as the Texas nurse Amber Vincent, as well as those who flew on the aircraft after the patient. The aircraft traveled to 7 different locations since landing in Dallas. Crew members on the initial flight have been placed on leave for 21 days. 2 pilots and 4 flight attendants will be monitored for any Ebola-like symptoms. The aircraft has now been decontaminated and is stored in Denver. Back here in California, some airports in the state may be adding Ebola screenings. State healthcare workers are asking the feds to consider adding screenings at our international airports. That could mean LAX, San Francisco, and maybe even here at Lindbergh Field. The state health department is also trying to determine whether certain hospitals should be designated to treat Ebola patients. Speaking of treating Ebola patients, a second San Diego company is getting involved in treating those who have contracted the Ebola virus. Athlon Medical has created a device that removes the virus by filtering the blood. The device is currently being used in Germany to treat a doctor from Uganda. No word yet on how the device is working. And as you can see on your screen, that's what the device looks like. Alrighty, Dallas and Dita, we're going to send it back to you. That's the latest from the Ebola scandal here in the U.S.
Thank you so much, Nate. Students at SDSU are mourning the death of an 18-year-old student. Sarah Stelzer died yesterday from meningitis. School officials say Stelzer was partying over the weekend, which means hundreds of students can be at risk of catching meningitis. The deadly disease can be spread by sharing drinks or even kissing. Symptoms include fever, headache, lethargy, stiff neck, or a rash. Anyone with these symptoms should immediately contact a healthcare provider.
ISIS is retreating from parts of the Syrian border town Kobani. The retreat comes after the U.S. stepped up the intensity of airstrikes in the region. Airstrikes have also been launched in parts of the neighboring Iraq. ISIS is rapidly making inroads into the Anbar province. ISIS is reportedly advancing on a town just 25 miles from Baghdad. General Martin Dempsey says he is confident we can assist the Iraqis to keep Baghdad from falling.
The Pope is shifting stance on same-sex marriage to keep up with modern times. Pope Francis has announced his views on homosexuality. The Pope is known for his compassion toward the gay community, stated recently, quote, "If someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge?" End quote. But now the Vatican is attempting to walk back the statements by altering an English translation of the document and editing out the comments about the LGBT people.
It's not a bird and it's not exactly a plane, but it has touched down after orbiting Earth nearly 2 years. The unmanned X-37B landed at Vandenberg Air Force Base Tuesday. Built under Boeing's Phantom Works division, the Air Force claims its use was to gather more test data. Theories other uses range from secret space weapon or a spy plane. The Pentagon strongly denies this theory and its exact mission is classified.
A pollution alert is now in effect for La Jolla beaches. According to city officials, 500,000 gallons of sewage spilled from a block line on Wednesday. It took 3 hours for crews to get the problem under control. Warning signs of contamination are posted at the children's pool and at the shoreline. The signs will be posted until the bacteria count meets safe levels.
The city of Santa Cruz is now California's leader in water conservation. Santa Cruz is offering an unprecedented idea, water school. Residents who don't comply with water use rules will face stiff fines. The city offers a one-time courtesy for residents to work off their bill by attending water school. As a result, residents are 96% compliant.
The San Diego mayor is pitching mandatory water conservation measures for the city. Mayor Faulkner is recommending the city moves to high alert drought status, calling for all residents and businesses to save water. The city plans to enforce new measures that will have no additional impact to the budget. If the city council approves, this guideline will go into effect starting November 1st. Pretty soon.
SDSU is teaming up with Twitter to increase safety on campus under a partnership between SDSU and the county. They are recruiting 1,000 Twitter users as volunteers to retrieve any emergencies that occur. SDSU is using $1 million from a federal grant to support the project. They are relying on this method to help get alerts faster over the traditional email system.
San Diego ranks as the fourth most expensive city for housing in the United States. Now, this may come as no surprise because for locals who have high rent and mortgages, roughly $22,000 is spent by San Diegans to pay for expenses like utilities, supplies, and shelters. The 3 cities that beat San Diego were Washington, D.C., San Francisco, and New York City.
City College is aiming to eliminate sexual assault threats on campus. We'll tell you what it's doing right to fight back.
And from the World Series to Thursday Night Football, we have all the highlights coming up in sports.
On April 28, 2012, I'll be participating in the Walk to Cure Psoriasis in Santa Monica, California.
Over 1 million Californians have psoriasis.
As somebody who's lived with this disease for 9 years,
13 years.
For 20 years,
33 years.
4 years.
It has never been more important for me to find a cure.
For all the embarrassing questions.
for all the heartache,
Humiliation.
Pain.
for all this loneliness the disease has caused me, it's never been a better time to find a cure.
Your participation in this walk gives us hope.
Optimism.
A future. Confidence.
That we can find a cure.
That we can find a cure.
So please join us.
Join us April 28th as we walk for a cure.
for more information, visit psoriasis.org.
See you there.
A new proposition would increase the amount that could be awarded to patients filing malpractice suits. Currently, there is a $250,000 cap. If passed, that amount would increase to $1.1 million. Proponents say it will allow victims to hold dangerous doctors accountable. Opponents, its claim makes doctors go out of business. A Harvard professor of health economics says there is no truth to this claim.
San Diego Council has issued its first marijuana dispensary permit. David Blair was granted the first conditional permit to open a green alternative in Otay on Wednesday. City officials have been evaluating 38 applications since April. The permit could cost each applicant up to about $100,000. San Diego police officers are now geared up to use surveillance body cameras on duty. Police Chief Zimmerman says all body camera videos are considered evidence and usually won't be made public except in instances that serve public safety. Police began using body cameras after allegations of racial profiling and sexual misconduct by officers. Zimmerman mentions that all cameras are worn by officers and that they make contact with members of the public. If they don't record, officers could be disciplined, which could lead to termination.
A $300,000 grant has been given to UCSD to combat campus assaults. According to campus security, the university had over 30 sexual assaults reports in the last 3 years. The grant money will help to fight campus assaults. It will also be used to enhance the educational outreach to students.
California is the first state to welcome a new law concerning sexual consent. The law is meant to decrease the number of sexual assaults on campuses. Roxana Paul has more details.
This law was approved by Governor Jerry Brown last month and requires an affirmative yes from both parts before and during sexual intercourse. It establishes that sex without consent is rape.
If there was not an absolute, coherent, conscious, sober yes, then you don't do it. Because then it's rape. It's not okay.
Silence is not consent, nor does it allow for consent to be given if at least one person is intoxicated, asleep, or unconscious.
We're making college campuses define how they're going to handle those kind of situations, disciplinary-wise. So they're going to have their own separate due process, I guess you could say, within the campus.
Certain physical gestures, such as nodding or moving closer to the person, can mean consent.
It's like if people don't want to have sex with you, don't have sex with them. Don't be trying to take advantage of people. Should be doing that.
Those kinds of things shouldn't happen, and that it should be a higher punishment on the students.
The law states lack of protest or resistance does not mean consent. Affirmative consent must be ongoing throughout the sexual activity and can be revoked at any time. The bill applies to all California post-secondary schools, public and private institutions that receive state money for financial aid. Campus police officer Malinda Clare believes education is the best defense.
I think education is actually what's most important when it comes to lowering sexual assault.
The law is still new, and people need to be educated about what consent means and how they can protect themselves. I'm Roxana Paul, Newscene.
Some departments from City College offers workshops in November and fair in spring where college police have a defense program. By this, they try to bring awareness and teach students to protect against assaults.
City College is offering a 12-hour defense program for female students starting tomorrow. The Rape Aggressive Defense Program system meant to bring awareness prevention and to reduce the risk against assaults. Women will learn how to take an active role on their self-defense. All female students, faculty, and guests are encouraged to attend the program.
Speaking of defense, let's hope we show a little more defense with the Chargers than last week against the Raiders. Danny, you have all the info for us, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, get it.
All right. Major League Baseball, San Francisco Giants looking to close their series against the St. Louis Cardinals and rep the National League in the World Series. Game 5, Madison Bumgarner and his 0.00 ERA get the start for the Giants. Top of the third, men on first and second. The pitch. Excuse me, okay, sorry. The pitch to John Jay, ripped to left field, bringing across Tom Cruise. 1-0 St. Louis. Bottom of the third, Adam Wainwright serves the pitch. John Pennick says no thanks. Deep right, 2-run homer. 2-1 Giants. To the top of the fourth, Bumgarner throws to Matt Adams, who turns on that big time. The solo shot to right field ties the score 2-2. Same inning where the usual ace Bumgarner gives up another solo home run. This time it's Tony Cruz going yard, 3-2 Cardinals. To the bottom of the ninth, 2-on tie score 3-3 Travis Ishikawa. With the call, 3-run homer. Walk-off home run, seeing the San Francisco Giants to the World Series. Now to the NFL. NFL kicked off last night in New England, where the division-leading Patriots took on the division-bottom Jets to the action. New York Giants head coach for the Patriots, Tom Brady, first quarter, 2nd and 7. The Jets' 49-yard line. Brady drops back, scrambles right, fires deep to a wide-open Shane Vereen. Steve Ridley's placement paying off with the 49-yard touchdown reception. New York ensuing drive, quarterback Smith, Jeremy Curley for the touch. Hold on, flag on the play, offensive holding. Jets would settle for the field goal, skip to the second quarter. Jets lead 9-7. Brady drops back, looks, shoots, start to pass to who? Shane Vereen for his second touchdown, 14-9, Patriots. Patriots would tack on another touchdown in the fourth quarter to seal the win. Patriots 27, Jets 25. Oklahoma City Thunder star Kevin Durant is sidelined for 6 weeks after having surgery on a fractured foot, while NBA preseason is underway with 2 superstars on the men from season-ending injuries. Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls edged out the Atlanta Hawks 85-84. Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers take on a 1986 loss against Utah. Boston beats Philly 111-91. New Orleans defeats a Kevin Durant-less OKC 120-86. Phoenix bests San Antonio 121-90, and the Golden State Warriors 104, Denver Nuggets 101. That's it for round ball action. And big games in college football this weekend. Number 7 Alabama hosts 21st ranked Texas A&M. Number 11 Oklahoma down 7.5 against number 14 Kansas State. Number 5 Notre Dame gets 13.5 going into number 2 Florida State. Mighty Ducks drop to number 9, taking on the unranked Washington Huskies. And Hawaii comes to town up 7.5 facing the Aztecs. Georgia coach Mark Wright tweeted he doesn't anticipate suspension of running back Todd Gurley to be lifted this week. Gurley was suspended indefinitely last week for allegedly accepting money and autographs, memorabilia, or for his likeness. San Diego Superchargers favorite 4.5, hosting the Kansas City Chiefs here at the Q. Kickoff at 1:15 p.m. That's sports in the handbag. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for the sports. And I want to ask you, what's your prediction on the score for this Sunday?
I say the Chargers should win. I predict 38-20 Bolts.
Yeah, that's right. We better
Bolts.
win.
Go
Let's make it to the
Bolts.
Super Bowl this year. I want to get there now. Anyways, coming up, we will teach you about a city college counselor was featured this week for his newly published book.
And a celebrity is crossing one more thing off her bucket list. Find out who that is when we come back.
For 40 cents, I got an egg.
I got gum.
I got a hairnet.
A kazoo.
A candy necklace.
An orange. A Band-Aid. For 40 cents, I got one of these.
I got a really great hat.
I got half a song.
Extra mayonnaise.
A stamp.
Helium. Some bling. Some fries.
Balloon dog.
Fabric softener.
This much of a Shirley Temple.
I got a mustache.
An apple.
Sprinkles.
15 minutes of parking and a ticket.
Lipstick.
2 pills a day is what it takes to stay alive if you're HIV positive. Those pills cost about 40 cents a day.
Lunch bag.
Whole Foods has found a new way to cater to its customers. The company has a new program to rate its produce. Its new system, Responsibly Grown, includes color-coded charts for their fruits and vegetables and flowers. Ratings of good, better, and best will give shoppers more information on suppliers' farming practices. 400 Whole Foods locations will carry Responsibly Grown labels. The premium cable channel HBO is expanding its services and taking its content to the mobile app world. HBO will be offering a standalone streaming service starting in 2015. Its new app, HBO Go, will allow customers to instantly enjoy unlimited access to HBO shows and documentaries from their tablet or more mobile device, The new streaming services will now allow users to watch HBO programs without paying a TV subscription.
The San Diego City College International Book Fair kicked off its week-long event on Monday. And one of the authors featured was City College counselor Raymond Wong, author of the newly published book, I'm Not Chinese, The Journey from Resentment to Reverence. Amor that stresses the importance of embracing identity. Wednesday, he expressed his gratitude for the chance to share his work.
Well, I do work at City College, and I wrote a book, and it's really an important experience for me, and I'm glad that I got to share it here at San Diego City College. It feels fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to receive some support.
At the event, students got the chance to get interactive with Wong. There was a signing, excerpts that were read from the book, and an open Q&A was offered afterwards. Congratulations.
A funny Oscar announcement from a celebrity and more music business drama for a pop star. Dallas Richter has those stories and more.
Well, thanks, guys.
No problem.
So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to want to listen to this. There will be 3 new spin-off films of the popular series. Those movies will be released every 2 years, starting in 2016. So the first one will be based on J.K. Rowling's book. It's called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And that's about the characters that are featured in textbooks that Harry Potter and the gang use at Hogwarts.
Get bigger. That's right, it's bigger. It's bigger. I just learned this dance like half an hour ago.
Hey, challenge accepted. So Neil Patrick Harris announced that he is hosting next year's Oscars. It'll be the first time for him hosting the Academy Awards, but the star has gotten a lot of practice. NPH has hosted the Tonys and the Emmys, so he knows what he's doing. The 2015 Oscars air next February. And Esquire magazine names Penelope Cruz the sexiest woman alive. The 40-year-old Oscar winner is on the cover of next month's issue of Esquire. So she's going to join the ranks with women like Scarlett Johansson, Mila Kunis, Angelina Jolie, all beautiful women. In the magazine, she talks about growing up in Madrid and her rise to fame. So pop star Demi Lovato makes one little boy's dream come true. She recently played a show in Illinois. So a 5-year-old boy was in the crowd. He had a sign and it said, "Will you marry me?" Watch what happens next. That was cute. So the star brings him on stage and he pops a question. She says yes, and the crowd went wild. It was a great moment. So from one pop star to another, singer Kesha is having some music business drama. So she says she wants out of her contract with her producer, Dr. Luke. In a lawsuit, the singer claims that he abused her sexually, emotionally, physically, and verbally over the last 10 years. Kesha says the abuse sparked an eating disorder that she went to rehab for earlier this year. Now, Dr. Luke is firing back with his own lawsuit. He's accusing the singer of extortion. So it sounds kind of messy. And that's pretty much it for entertainment, guys. I'll send it right back to you.
Thank you, Dallas, for that entertainment news. I'm wondering if Kesha's musical content will change after this lawsuit.
Yeah, I really hope she gets everything set for her. So California is still struggling on one of the most things, but you know what? With the drought, but with autumn in a full swing and temperatures cooling down, we'll have all the weather for you and about the information about the drought coming up next.
Gift giving is hard.
Gift
What
giving
happened?
isn't
What
hard.
happened?
What do you give the person who's got everything? I wanted to do something different.
I wanted to surprise him. I remember looking at the card and saying, "What's this?"
I was like, "I got you chickens."
We gave my father-in-law some ducks.
Oh, I'm really getting a goat, and you start making plans to build a gate in your backyard.
I gave her a heifer.
You're giving me a cow for my birthday?
A cow, some goats, and some chickens. I was so happy.
They're not coming to my house, right?
I thought a swarm of bees were going to arrive at the house. And then she explained Heifer International, and I started to cry.
Gifts like this change lives. A farm animal helps families in hunger.
So they can raise their own food?
Children have medicine.
Women have a voice.
Give different.
Christmas, Valentine's Day, Hanukkah, whatever you want.
Give a family life.
It's more than a gift.
It's the best gift I ever gave.
California is still struggling with our most serious drought to date.
Joshua Lipton is here to let us know how long it will last. Joshua?
Thank you, Dita. Thank you, Dallas. And yes, as you can tell, I've got an
startling image here from NOAA. This was the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration just released this image from NASA. NASA satellite Grace, and you can see June 2002, and you can just see how drastic this this drought has been. 2002, nice and green in California. 2008 gets a little bit oranger. 2014, you can see all of this red. Lake beds are drying up, towns are going under, rivers are drying up, reservoirs up in northern California are also getting just ravaged. The San Jose area had a reservoir that just went basically just dry. If we want to move on to the winter outlook that NOAA also released, there was a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration released another map that talks about the winter outlook that seem to be having some technical difficulties with right now. But it is going to persist. The drought will continue. It will last. Here it is right here. So you can see it's all of California is basically covered in warm weather. It's going to be hotter. Even Alaska is going to be wetter. That's going to be melting of the climate or melting of the icebergs. Climate change is a big factor. And if you guys want to go ahead and move it on to the tropical storm that is threatening Hawaii right now, Tropical Storm Anna, as of 5 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, it's sitting right now at it's Tropical Storm Category 3, I believe. Or I'm sorry, just a tropical storm, not a hurricane. Tropical storm, 75-mile-per-hour winds right now, and it's moving slightly west, a little northwest, and it's going to veer more towards the northwest. So hopefully it'll miss the main islands. As of right now, though, you guys are going to be in for some big surf and some heavy winds, so take shelter. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Hurricane Gonzalo in the Caribbean/Atlantic Ocean. It's about to hit Bermuda. Right now, when we're airing, Bermuda is going to get slammed with this. It's wreaking havoc all through the Caribbean. It's already caused 1 death in Antigua and St. Martin, injuring 12 others. Let's go ahead and look at the 3-day forecast for San Diego. And as you can tell, San Diego is always beautiful here. 72 Saturday, 65 is your low, partly sunny. 74 is a high and 65 is a low on Sunday, partly cloudy. Moving on to game day forecast for the Chargers-Chiefs matchup. It's going to be a beautiful day out there, 74 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 11 miles per hour. Humidity will be around 72%. Slight chance of rain, doubtful, 20%. Great football weather for a tough divisional matchup with the Chiefs. I hope that we can get on the field, get our defense ready. Let's go Bolts. That's all I got for weather for you guys. Coming back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Josh, for the weather update. Now, have you carved your pumpkin yet? It's almost Halloween time.
You know what? I really need to do that.
Yeah, well, check this out. One California farmer has put a new twist on an old tradition. Carving jack-o'-lanterns may be a thing of the past thanks to Tony Digra and his Pumpkinstein farm. After 4 years and $500,000 later, the Pumpkinstein is alive and for sale. Now he's selling the pumpkin for about $75 and even has plans for next Halloween. Now next year's batch will have eyeballs made of marbles, and he's developing another pumpkin to resemble a skull. Well, thank you so much. That's it for this edition of Newscene. I'm Dallas Antiveros.
I'm Dira Quinones. Have a great weekend.
Good night.